I'm Aiman. Welcome back to another video in the series of videos that we're doing on me and my family's journey of raising our new chickens. In my last video, I took you to Tractor Supply Co. where I showed you where we got our supplies for raising our chickens. Alright, so I'm going to be honest here. I've actually never been to Tractor Supply Co. before. Neither has Zami, Anissa, or I think my mom.
Maybe a scratch post. There's a lot that you need for cats.
And as you can see, there's a wide variety of chickens for different prices, like pullets for $3.59, but Cornish rocks are for $2.59. The current supplies that they have, they're out of some feeders, and right now it's a Tuesday, so it makes sense that they're out of most stuff. But as you can see, there's quite a demand for chicken supplies. In this video, today I'm going to talk about the brooder. Alright, so first off, what is a brooder? Now, when you get chickens, you can't just put them out into the open and expect them not to at least get into some kind of trouble. And the reason why is because there's a lot of factors that go into taking care of chickens. One of them is that you have to make sure that they're in the right temperature. And that's what having a brooder does. A brooder allows you to keep your chickens safe, happy, and healthy before they get old enough so that you can let them outside. Alright, so the way that this actually substitutes, the brooder actually substitutes for the growth process is basically, if these chickens, right, they came from a nursery and we got them right after they hatched. So they probably came out of an incubator, which means that they most likely didn't have a mother that could sit on them. Because, you know, usually when you have natural born chickens, their mothers will sit on them in order to keep them warm. However, in order for us to keep them warm, what we need to use is a heat lamp. And when the chickens start out growing, you need to keep their body temperature very high. So the general guidelines for the heat lamp is you basically want to start out with giving them a temperature of 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and with every week passing by, you want to lower that temperature down by 5 degrees. So let's say week 2 it should be 9 degrees, week 3 it should be 85 degrees. And you should do this until you reach around 75 degrees, and then after that, for a few weeks you want to wait. You want to let them grow into poule, or teenage chickens, and then you can let them out. Alright, so over there I just want to try to give a go at my knowledge on what I've learned about chickens. But now I'm going to show you exactly what we've done with our brooder. Now, there is no one-to-one formula for building a brooder, but there are some general tips on what you should do. So first off, you should have the container, and over here we have a Tupperware from Walmart, which is about $8. And behind me, what you want to get first is the bedding. So right here we have some very cheap wood chips. I think this in particular is pine shavings. And you just want to lay it into the container. I've heard some people say that straw's not good for chickens. But I think in some cases straw should be fine. But if you want to be safe, go with wood shavings. For demonstration purposes, we're not going to put all of the bedding because, you know, these chickens poop a lot, or these chicks poop a lot. So we don't want to waste all of them on this demonstration right now. But as you can see, we have a nice layer of bedding. And what you want to do next is you want to place your water and your feed on one side of your brooder. Now then, you have your food and your water, which means that your chickens should be well fed and what's the word for water? Not thirsty. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure you have your heat lamp set up. This isn't the right setup for a heat lamp. It's not the right height. But basically, this is what it's supposed to look like when you set up the heat lamp. Basically, you want to have it shining on one side of the brooder. You don't want it to be shining on the side with the water and the food, probably on the other side. And that's so that they can switch between the two if they need to. And what you can also do is first, of course, you want to make sure it's set to the right temperature, but what you can also do is you can also make sure that the chickens have some sort of box that you place down. And as you can see, you can either go on top of the box, which the chicks like to perch on top of it, or they can go inside of it, which we have these holes cut out for them. And the reason why is because if they're cold, they can go on top of the box and get some more heat, some more direct heat. Or if they are cold and they want to sleep, they can go under the box and still be kept warm. Of course, to make sure that your temperature is set right, you want to take a thermometer, like the one that we have here, and place it in your brooder. As you can see right now, it's 84 degrees outside, but it looks like our chickens aren't actually cold, because if they were cold, they would be huddling together. So right now I'm going to place a few of them in the brooder so that they can go around. And right now, these chicks should be on their second week of growth because we got them exactly a week ago. However, for them to be shipped, they have to be up to 3 days old. That's what the nursery told us. When we get the chickens, let me rephrase. They ship the chickens when they're up to 3 days old. So that means that these chickens could be 8 days old or they could be 10 days old. We don't really know, but with a general guideline, these guys should be kept at around 90 degrees. And next week they should be at 85 degrees and so on up until 75 degrees. I mean, like, just to clarify, the nursery says that they ship them when they're around 24 hours to 72 hours old. So they could be older, they could be younger. We don't really know for sure, especially because we didn't, give birth to them ourselves. But talking more about the materials, you can get these tanks, I think, for around $3 at Tractor Supply Co. This one's very cheap at TSC, or pretty much any other places you can find feeders. The heat lamps were $7 for 2. And a thermometer, well, we just found a thermometer around our house. So depending on how resourceful you are and your budget, a brooder like ours could cost you around $15 to $20, or if you reuse old materials, it could potentially be free, especially if you have old Tupperwares, old heat lamps, and if you make the perch by yourself. And theoretically speaking, this side of the brooder should be the hottest, and if the chicks want to get even more direct heat, they can get on top of the perch, like I said before. So as you can see right now, it doesn't look like they're too cold, so we can't exactly demonstrate that. But as you can see, it looks like our chicks enjoy our brooder very much. Alright, so a few things. My dad likes to call these boxes sleeping boxes because, this is usually where they sleep. But also another thing is that with these boxes, you should make sure that you make a ton of them because you're going to need to replace them every once in a while. Because as you can see, they poop on it. And as you can see here, we actually have a box of Fancy Feast cans that we use for our chicks. And I think it's funny because this is Bella's food, which means that these chicks are going to become Bella's food. But anyway, just make sure that you dispose of these boxes and then replace them because these chicks like to roost on them. And make sure that you make these boxes low enough for them to actually get on top of. And if you can't do that, make sure you have like some sort of slope. Oh, see? He jumped on top of the box. And make sure you have some sort of slope that leads up to it. Alright, so I said he, but just to clarify, all of these guys, at least with a 95% guarantee, are female. I mean, when I went to the store, I thought unisex implies that they're all male, but they're actually all female. Just to make sure that I have to keep reminding myself, because if I don't remind myself, I'm gonna misgender them. Oh, look at them. Oh, never mind. So if you don't want to make your brooder, which I totally advise you should make your own brooder, but if you don't want to make your own brooder, there are some people out there who are selling brooders for, let's say, for a ton of money. And the reason why is because these brooders actually have radiant heat instead of using a heat lamp in order to keep the chicks warm. And the advantage to that is that these heat bulbs, they're 250 watts, which means that they're very likely to cause something to go up in flames. So if you use a heat bulb, make sure that, especially if you're like in a small apartment or a small house, make sure that you don't have any flammable materials within at least 3 feet of it, because this is a very high risk thing. Now, another thing about talking about risk, if you're scared of your cats eating your chickens, what you can do is you can take some sort of netting or wire and put it on top of your your brooder, make sure that it still allows heat to go through, and it will prevent most of your cats from being able to go into the brooder. Now, keep in mind, if it's not totally safe because the cats can still reach under and take it out, or they can still reach into it, but it's still a precaution. But at least I don't think we need to worry with our cats. But that's another story, and if you want to check out that story, check out my next video. But for now, I'm Aiman, and thanks for watching. Please like or comment, subscribe, and look at videos on EyeOnAiman. Check out that video from yesterday on Tractor Supply Co. Or not yesterday, we just did it. And also check out my future videos on our journeys with raising these chicks. But for now, I'm Aiman, that's Bella, and these are our chicks, signing out.